Hello and welcome to the Dash News podcast. This is episode 114. I'm Mark Mason and I'm joined by my fellow co-host and amigo, Joel Valenzuela. How's it going?
I'm staying very dashy.
Yeah, happy Friday.
Yes, happy, warm, sunny, fun Friday. Feeling a little bit kooky today though, so be careful.
Feeling kooky. Okay. And this is really special podcast because we don't just have one guest, we've got two guests. So let me introduce them one by one. So we've got a familiar face that I'm sure many of you in the Dash community may recognize already. He goes by the name Ezra in the community, but his real name is Jan. He is from the Dash Embassy. Happy Friday, Jan. How's it going?
Hello, everyone. I'm fine today. How are you, Mark?
I'm very well, thank you. Yep, it's Friday. The weekend has nearly landed. It's really been hot in the UK. Yesterday was the hottest day of the year to date, but to be honest, today is pretty sweltering as well. But thank you for joining us. And we also welcome to the podcast Fabio. So welcome to the podcast, Fabio. He's from Bitterlow, actually, but he's also a very well-known Dash community member, and the Bitterlow part is very important for the announcement, which you've probably read in the title by now, is about the Dash Convention Europe and Dashtoberfest. So welcome to the podcast, Fabio.
Hi there from Switzerland. It's hot even here. So all of Europe is melting currently.
Yeah, I'm not doing too well with the heat, to be honest. But yeah, thank you for joining us. And I think this title of this podcast and this announcement is going to take the community by surprise because it's really unexpected. This is a kind of unofficial community event, which kind of like spawned from the podcast when we had Fabio on before, which was a long time ago. And we kind of joked about a Dashtoberfest idea. But Fabio, you really liked the idea and you've kind of made this a reality. Do you just want to tell us a little bit about how this all came about?
Yeah, so as you said, it started in the podcast basically, and as I'm originally from Munich, so I know Munich very well and the Oktoberfest very well. I thought, well, okay, let's try this. And a good friend of mine used to work in event management and is pretty well connected because to get access to the tents, to the actual big tents at Oktoberfest is pretty difficult. It's sold out very easily, and I asked him, "Can you try to get us some tables for Dashtoberfest?" And then weeks passed, and I had basically forgotten about it. And then I got an email announcing an offer for 50 places at Schützenfestzelt. It's a tent on one of the major big tents on Oktoberfest on Monday, the 30th of September, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. That's the day shift, because they split the day in several shifts. And yeah, at first I thought, well, it's a Monday. What do we do with a Monday during the day? But that okay, let's do that. And then, as I'm here in the Bitcoin embassy in Uster, with a bunch of friends who work on various projects. Among them is Bitterlow, and I'm the CEO of Bitterlow AG, which is a German financial intermediator with the BaFin license. And we are here close to Zurich in a center which is very well fitted for a conference. And Zurich and Munich are 3 hours away by car. So we had this idea, hey, why not do a Dash conference in this space? And I can show you guys around if you want, just right there. And let's try to combine that with Oktoberfest. And well, I contacted Jan, and so he liked the idea, and that's how it the ball got rolling.
Maybe,
Wow.
maybe you need to tell people that you talked about Dashtoberfest for around about 6 months, something like
Yeah.
that, or maybe even last year. So I remember when I visited you last year in Munich, and we went to Oktoberfest because the Dash Embassy was invited there by Brits and Pretzels, which is a big trade fair and conference for digital company, startup, all that stuff. And we have been at Oktoberfest, and so 1 year ago, Fabio was already talking about Dashtoberfest and said, we need that table. We need Dash branding everywhere over here, and the Dash community and partner to be here and join the Oktoberfest. I don't know who of you guys have already been to Oktoberfest. People always say it's on the bucket list. You need to go there, definitely. For me, it's just a noisy place in the end. But yeah, maybe you should be there for.
We're meant to be selling it, Jan, to the community.
Yeah.
Not
He's
playing.
from northern Germany. They don't know anything.
Yeah,
Listen to the Bavarians in the south.
yeah. Let's break it down.
There's Mamma Mia.
Because I think most people have heard of Oktoberfest, but let's just pretend aliens are listening. So let's break it down for a lot of people. Yes, Oktoberfest has been on my bucket list for a long time. I've never attended myself. I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm very grateful to Fabio and Bitterlo for sponsoring those 50 seats for that tent. Hopefully I'm one of the selected few to go to that. Very excited about that. But like, so Oktoberfest, it's not just about drinking beer. It's like a whole big fun. Well, it's not just a day out. It's for a long period of time. But this specific Dashtoberfest will be like a one-day event. But what is that? It's not just beer tents. There's like, you know, fun fair, fun rides, and all kinds of crazy stuff, right?
Yeah. So first of all, it's not only a place in the seat what we are sponsoring. It's 3 mass, so the big 3 liters of beer basically, and a menu to eat as well in each ticket. And Oktoberfest is it started as a celebration for some royal marriage like 200 years ago or something, and has turned into the biggest ferry. I don't know how to call it in English. Volksfest, basically popular party,
Public event. Yes.
Public event. Yeah, and there's Russian mountains. No, how do you call it? All the stuff like that, and then those famous large tents. But it's what's important to know. It's not. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's for having fun, of course, but it's also many companies use that as an event to just socialize because, yeah, and it's great for that. I myself, in the past, I've been to many events like that at Oktoberfest where you get to meet people, and it's just an enjoyable atmosphere. And it's visited. It's 2 weeks long in Munich, and I think there are around 6 or 7 million people coming to Munich during that day, and Munich is a 1.4 million city. So that's one of the reasons why we thought, well, a Dash conference in Munich during the Oktoberfest, that's pretty nuts. But to combine it with Zurich, yeah, makes sense.
Is there a dress code because we want to encourage community participation, especially this podcast. So if you're watching this on YouTube live now, please get in the chat. This is still kind of in its infancy, and
yes, we're creating it live right here. Yeah,
we want feedback, we want suggestions, because you are a part of this as well. So I hope that you attend. I'm definitely coming, so you get to meet Stay Dashy.
Ooh,
apparently he's a really cool guy. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. For the dress code, I feel strongly we all should have to wear Dash embroidered denim polo shirts. What do you think?
Sounds awesome. Yeah. Lederhosen would be the typical thing, or for the ladies, a real dirndl. But yeah.
But in terms of dress code, you can wear everything, right? So if hardcore Dash fans turn up and we all rep our colors and wearing Dash swag, which you probably know I'm going to be doing anyway as standard, that's okay, right?
That's totally okay. There are a lot of people in lots of all kinds of funny dresses on Oktoberfest. You won't be the most ridiculous one for sure.
Mark is going to be in the giant Dash coin suit with the little
that
white
would be
gloves
cool.
going.
If it's colder than it is now, I would consider it. But if it's warm as it is now, no way. But yeah, maybe actually wearing Dash swag, it would be quite a good idea anyway, especially if you're traveling from afar and you easily want to be able to identify yourself in the group anyway. Wearing Dash might be a good thing anyway, especially if you don't speak German like myself. So it'll be good to be able to identify people in the group in case we don't lose anyone, because as you say, it's jam packed, right? So many people go to this, and it's not just Germans. It's like people from around the world travel just to come to this event. It's a major spectacle. And
there's a whole tent where there's basically only Australians and New Zealanders, so they come from very far away. It's Hofbräuzelt, and it's really so. For instance, if they say be there at 12, you have to be there at 12, because after 15 minutes they give away your seats and stuff like that. So it's really you have to be on time.
It all runs on time, huh?
Yeah.
So the Dashtoberfest part. So it sounds great. So once again, thank you to Bitterlo for sponsoring. So the 50 seats, get a meal, 3 liters of beer. Wowzers. Amazing. But like, how are you distributing the tickets? Because obviously I want as many people from the community to turn up as possible. So without making people feel excluded, there's plenty of things for them to do as well, right? So even within the tent, how long is that for? Is that probably going to be like an hour or two, I would imagine? So I don't want people to feel left out if they don't get one of those 50 spots.
Yeah. So the real scarce thing is the seat there, and the day shift is from 12 to 17. So the middle shift, it's not during the evening. After 5 p.m. we have to leave anyway, and then we can do whatever we want in Munich. And there's there's party in the whole city.
Or on the Oktoberfest. So the Oktoberfest,
yeah, sure.
As you already said, there are roller coasters and almost everything you can imagine that you would have at a fun park. So this exclusive part at the tent from 12 to 5 p.m. Is for 50 people only. But of course, everyone else who's willing to join Dashtoberfest or Dashy people at Oktoberfest can go there, and we can party before, we can party afterwards on the Oktoberfest, or as Fabio said, in a pub in the city, wherever we like in the end. So, but this Dashtoberfest is only one part of what we are thinking about at the moment, and
exactly.
Maybe it might make sense to show people what we're thinking about in general. I know that Oktoberfest is very exciting, and everyone wants to go there, eat pork knuckle and all that, but. Maybe we should dive a bit deeper, because this is only the fun part. This is only the party, and in the end, it's a after work party or after conference party, which brings us to the part in Uster in the end, or to Switzerland. Yeah. So maybe I'm not sure. Shall I just share the screen for that and show what we're thinking about at the moment, or?
Yes, please. Yeah, I think that's perfect timing.
Yeah, one of us can narrate for the audio listeners at home who are just, I'm just going to hear a lot of silence and, okay. Okay, that's interesting.
Right, okay. So Jan is going to share his screen now, and
maybe I can say a few words about Uster, where it is, because we said Zurich, and Uster is a suburb of Zurich, and it's the location here is 15 minutes away from the Zurich main station, and about 20-25 minutes away by train from the Zurich International Airport. So very easy to get there.
Okay, Jan, I'm on your screen. I've blown it up, so take it away.
All right, so yeah, we are ready to go. And maybe first of all, when Fabio reached out to me with the idea for Dashtoberfest, yeah, I was a bit excited to go there and have fun again at Oktoberfest. But as mentioned before, I don't really like those crowded places and only have party. And I'm always a bit efficiency driven, kind of. So Fabio and me thought about what we can do with Dashtoberfest and how we can combine it and make it a real Dash community event. And yeah, it's basically this Dash Convention Europe from 28th to 30th of September 2019 in Zurich and Munich or Uster, but it's close to Zurich, as Fabio just explained. So what is it? It's in the end, or can be, maybe that's better because it's still under construction and we need feedback and people who want to get involved here. A convention that's a 3-in-1 event for the Dash community. First of all, it starts with a co-working day where proposal owners and masternode owners can meet to discuss current projects and ideas and maybe future strategy for Europe or other specific areas in business development and all that. I'll go into more details later on. The second day, so the Sunday, 29th of September, is Inside Dash. It's like a conference for Dash, all about Dash. And at the last day, Dashtoberfest with a short travel from Switzerland to Munich. So let's start with this co-working day stuff. Some of you might be aware that there are some groups, BizDev Connectory and PR Connectory, where several proposal owners and DFOs are involved in. And we have weekly meetings where we update each other, learn from each other, help each other out with resources, documents, whatever it is. And so the idea for Dash Co-working was to get everyone in one place, so we don't only speak for 2 hours weekly in a video call, but have one day to discuss business development, consumer activation strategy, point of sale marketing maybe, or no matter if it's in the digital or at the real point of sale, and also the idea of developer events. Because in my opinion, all these efforts, no matter if it's consumer activation, marketing, events and all that, should be handled not from a single but from almost everyone in the community. So I think having one day to discuss this, proposal owners together with master nodes, might be a good start to have a Dash or a weekend full of Dash. So when there are no questions for that co-working, I would just go on to the next slide so people can have the whole experience of the presentation. Or Mark, Joel, any questions?
Not yet.
All good so far. So for those that are watching and seeing that slide, so there's some topics and a schedule, but keep in mind things may change in the future. Like this is still in its infancy. Some of the things are locked in, but like this is just like suggestion right now. This is something to present to the community because we wanted to give you guys as much as a heads up as possible because September isn't that far away, and we do appreciate some of you are going to have to make arrangements with travel, maybe get time off work. As Jan said, this is a Saturday, Sunday, Monday event. You probably want Tuesday to recover from the hangover, but we wanted to give you as much opportunity. But we want the community to get involved in this. We want you to be typing in the live chat. We want questions. We want people to help out. We want volunteers. This is a community event. So I think for the Dash co-working part, Jan, I think that's pretty hit the nail on the head. It's a way for me to meet people, and also for masternode owners that perhaps want to come and just actually speak to some of the DFOs and learn more about what they're doing, how they're approaching businesses and whatever. But I think for the community aspect, I think the next part is a lot more exciting.
Yeah, so just to reiterate on that point about Dash is a global thing, open to participation to anyone. And sometimes you just get this you get this feeling of isolation that you don't know anyone, know what's going on. Maybe you thanks to Discover Dash, you know where you can spend some. Maybe you join some chat forums or whatever. But being able to actually see what's going on really helps, especially if you're kind of on the fence about some things. it really helps to just see the teams, the professionals that are working, the actual faces. It's not just like, oh yeah, well, you said integration here. It's just like, no, these are a bunch of people. And of course, we were talking about, just a few of us here are not affiliated with the core team. Hopefully, we do get people affiliated with the core team, but that's kind of a good thing because you get to see professionals with, no offense, but like their shit together, actually making a difference. That's not just like that one founding company or whatever. It's a great opportunity. Now, the only question then at this point so far, Mark said some of it's set in stone, some of it isn't. What is set in stone right now? Like, what is kind of irreversible?
Oh, the only thing irreversible right now is Dashtoberfest, and that Bitalo will sponsor 50 seats. So everything else, having the location on Saturday, it's not written in stone right now. There are no signatures for now because we need a decision from the network, and we don't need to do all that when the community does not want to get involved in that, or don't want to have this kind of event, because we don't do this for us and for our own, but for almost everyone who wants to join us. So not almost, for everyone that want to join us. And when people don't like the whole idea, then we don't need to do it anyway. So nothing's in stone right now.
Yeah. So regarding, because we think about travel and logistics. So if for example, if I was planning an event somewhere in Manchester, New Hampshire, you'd run it for a little bit and then be, hey, let's drive out to Portsmouth the next day. It's not that far. Now, so I'm thinking about, and I'm going to play up my ignorance a little bit just in case, just to make sure I encompass everyone. Germany and Switzerland are two different countries. And when you start thinking about like, oh, we'll start here and then another day we'll be in another country. A lot of people start thinking like, especially in Europe, it's not that big of a deal. You cross borders all the time. But in like the US, for example, or, maybe Russia or some giant place like that, it's like people start thinking like, oh, how far is it? What are the logistics? So what's like a good sample logistic plan of how people would do the event? So you fly.
We can come to that later because there is a basic idea for that. But to see the value for the travel, it might make sense to first have a look at what's in this convention package, because this co-working stuff, of course, is not for everyone. As I said before, it's for proposal owners and DFOs and masternodes. And if you don't mind, I would go on with the Inside Dash conference, because this is open for everyone to join. And
sure.
We'll have a last look at Dashtoberfest, and then we can already present the logistic location, logistic solution in that way.
Sounds good to me. So it looks like Dashtoberfest is kind of the prelim, but the conference is the main event.
Yeah, it's a combination. For some, maybe Dashtoberfest might be the main event, and for others, maybe it's co-working. For others,
someone, huh?
Maybe it's Inside Dash. Yeah. Okay, so the second day, it's Inside Dash, basically like a conference where people from the Dash community and ecosystem have slots to talk. So already confirmed right now, Robert Vietzko, CEO from Dash Core Group, Mark Mason, hopefully as a moderator for the panel we are planning. Mark, can you confirm?
Yeah, I'm happy to host it, be the MC, whatever you need me to do.
Awesome. Of course, I'll be there. Fabio will be there. Then Rodrigo Russell, who is COO of Utrust. It's e-commerce payment solution. Gerald Wirtel, he's the CEO of IQ Cash Now, the biggest ATM company in Europe, which just integrated Dash because of our work. And Peter Vesborg. Who knows that guy, and who can tell me from which company and country he is?
CrowdNode.
Woohoo!
I don't know what country though. I don't.
Denmark.
I sometimes barely know which country I'm from, but
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, from Denmark, and here we have a suggestion for the agenda. So all the speakers you see right now, and oh, I forgot to mention Salamantex, the point of sale solution we are working with here in the DACH region, will also be there and do a presentation. All these speakers have already confirmed that they would love to join us on that Sunday and share their strategy and their experience with Dash, and yeah, what their next plans are in the end. So we can have a short dive into what is Dash, or introduction into Dash for people who are not aware of Dash or not familiar, don't know all the details. Then we would like to have a closer look to mining on Dash, because in my opinion, mining always falls a bit short in the community conversations, but mining is important. Next would be CrowdNode, about Dash masternodes and Dash masternode shares, of course. Then I would talk about our activities in our region here and some other parts of Europe. After a short lunch break, we'll have the presentations about the ATMs. After that, Fabio is talking about peer-to-peer trading with Betalo. Then Dash at the point of sale by Salamantex, and Dash in e-commerce by Rodrigo Russell from Utrust. And after that short coffee break, we would love to have a presentation from Dash Platform and one about Dash Investment Foundation. And for those two slots, Robert is already looking for people who might be the right for that. I hope that Fernando will join us, maybe for Dash Investment Foundation, if we're not able as the team to tell something about diff already. But I think for some people out there, it might be interesting to understand the whole idea and structure of diff, and therefore Fernando might be the right person. And then at the end, panel with moderation, and I don't know the topic for that right now. Maybe Dash adoption, maybe scaling, maybe we should get someone from the Bitcoin community and the Dash developer discussing Lightning versus on-chain and scaling, something like that. So some points in this agenda can be like they are at the moment, but there's still some room to play with. So when nobody's interested in mining, hey, let's do something else there. It depends on the feedback we get from the community. Yeah. So
I'm in talks with a potentially interesting partner for the mining parts already.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. So this is the second day. So we have the first co-working stuff, then the second conference where everyone can attend, and then the final meltdown at Oktoberfest, or as we call it, Dashtoberfest in Munich. Cool. There's text missing, and there we go. So as mentioned before, Dashtoberfest is on invitation only. Betalo sponsored 50 seats over there. So when you can see it on the picture down below, there's one table and then 50 seats, and you see this place is crowded. You will get 3 liters of beer, pork knuckle or Hähnchen. I don't know it's like chicken in the end. And you can be there for, I think that's 5 hours, and talk to companies from the Dash ecosystem, and persons that get invited by Betalo. So this is in the end the last. The final party over there in Munich. And to get there, and this is where we come back to the logistics, we will offer people a bus shuttle from Uster or Zurich to Munich. It takes around about 3 hours to go there. We don't already have the price for that right now, but yeah, I think only the travel will be fun. A bus of Dash people for 3 hours on the Autobahn, and going straight ahead to Munich, Oktoberfest, and then party there all together. And as mentioned before, 50 seats on invitation only, sponsored by Betalo. But whoever is interested to go to Oktoberfest, we will be there on the 30th of September and have a party also after this exclusive part in the tent. And then outside, having some beer, running around the city, having a look at Munich, and girls in dirndl, guys in lederhosen, all that traditional Bavarian stuff. I can't really understand because I'm from.
Well,
Yeah.
you're more Bavarian than I am.
That's basically it.
Silly question. If for those that do not obtain one of the 50 seats, is it like free entry to go to Oktoberfest? Like, do you literally just walk in, or do you have to pay a ticket at the door? Is there like an entry fee?
No, there's you can enter the basic huge area for free, and the chances on a Monday are actually rather good, but you never know. You can access the tents for free, but very often they simply get closed because they're overcrowded. So to be really sure to get a seat and a place, you have to have a reservation. And so far, my rough estimate would be that maybe 30 people maximum will want to come from Uster, so from the conference in Zurich to Munich, and maybe 20 we should keep for partners, etc. for that go only to Oktoberfest because they already are in Munich or stuff like that. But that's a rough estimate we have so far.
Okay, excellent. So,
But
Jan,
you can always enter the public area of Oktoberfest without paying. And of course, when there are 60 people who want to go to Munich from Uster, we will try to make that happen. Depends on the feedback. So when I think the conference part can handle around about 100 people. So nothing really big. It's more community related. Yeah. When all of them want to go there, we will try to make that happen and help them to organize the travel. But the costs for traveling, so to go to Zurich and go back to home from Munich, need to be paid by the attendees, like in every other conference too. So when I go to a conference, I need to book a hotel, I need to book a train, and need to buy a ticket for that. And right now we try to figure out how we can handle all that with the financials. Because on the one hand, of course, we can do it like a regular crypto conference and say, yeah, 350 euro 1 day ticket. But we really don't want that. And this whole event is not for making profit; it's for connecting the people in the community. So we try to keep the ticket price for the Inside Dash part as low as possible, and try to find a solution in which we can maybe help some DFOs or proposal owners to join the co-working day, because there might be high travel costs to get to Switzerland, let's say from Asia or from Nigeria or from Latin America. And I think it would be great to have everyone there, and maybe there's a possibility to help them. And we thought about sponsoring fees for example, CrowdNode, the mining company, and so on and so on. But yeah, this could be one way. I don't really like that approach because they are helping the network already somehow. So why should they pay for that? And they have interesting things to tell, in my opinion. Another way could be to set up a proposal for that. And I think the costs will not be that high. Maybe something like 10 or 20,000 euro, something like that. But in the end, the community, the master owners need to decide. But before we submit a proposal, I think it makes sense that we get some feedback. So
of course.
what's their feedback on all that?
Now,
Can I add something just really quick on the inside, because that's important. We want to do that. The co-working, that's a purely community based event, but the Inside Dash, I want to get newcomers to it. We're very close here to the so-called Crypto Valley in Zug. We are pretty well connected, so I think we will get people from Bitcoin Swiss, for instance. I hope they will come if I say that. I haven't asked them yet, but
I can call them, Fabio. But yeah, I can just call them. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I know them too, so I'm pretty confident they will come. But to attract as many newcomers as possible. I mean, if the space is limited, so 100 or 120 max for Inside Dash is the capacity of this place. If we get flooded by requests and it will be a Dash only conference, well, so be it. But yeah, the goal would be to get attention from media and from the Crypto Valley.
So I want to focus on two things now, mainly on the Inside Dash conference part. The first part, I want to talk about the travel and logistics, because I think Joel mentioned and raised a very valid point for people that haven't really been to mainland Europe before. They may hear Switzerland, and then you got to go to Germany. Now, I know from talking to you guys behind the scenes that you know, we can organize a bus that it's only like a 3-hour journey, which is like nothing to cross the border. But for a lot of people, that might sound scary. But this is the reason why we're putting it out there, right? Because once we get an idea and we can gauge the sentiment from the community and get an idea of numbers, we can then organize those buses, or a beer bus, exactly, as I like to describe it. So, you know, we can all get together as a group, get buses if necessary. If we need more than one, then so be it. And then we can all go together. And it's only like a 3-hour journey. It's just like we need to get organized. And we don't want to tell the community what to do. We want this to be a community event. So we want your feedback. We want your suggestions. And we want your questions. So if you're watching this live, once again, get in the live chat, ask some questions, or, you know, give us the thumbs up if you think it's a really good idea. But like,
or the comments below the video if you're watching afterwards, because I know a lot of people don't watch live, especially them Australians. But so regarding the logistics, of course, one thing, and I have done this before. Last time I was in Europe for a Dash event, I did the thing where I flew into one city and then I flew home from another one. And it's always more complicated to do those kinds of trips. I made it happen, but so it would be, you'd fly into Switzerland and then do that part of the conference. Then say there's an organized bus that's like free or whatever, or very cheap. But then you'd have to have your plane ticket fly out of Munich to go back to where you're from, right? So just so that part's clear. And then you'd book a hotel in one spot and you'd book another one in another spot.
Correct.
All right. Yeah, that's all. It's all a lot more it's all a lot more clear now.
If you want to have everything, you could, of course, only fly to Zurich and then back home if you don't want to go to Oktoberfest, or could just fly to Munich and skip Inside Dash. That's modular in a way, yeah.
Or visit dinner after you have been to Dashtoberfest to check out some of those Salamantics merchants when you're already in Europe, for example. So you can combine that with some holidays or whatever it is.
Yeah, figured the whole thing out. So it just saying it out loud helps me, and possibly other audio listeners, get that in my mind, because when I was first hearing that as you're talking, I was thinking, wait, you fly into Munich and then you have to find a way to travel to Zurich, and then you have to go back to Munich or something. Like it wasn't quite clear, and it's good to just be like here, and then there you go.
Yeah, we should include a map in the presentation, because then you see it's not that far away. It's like going from Hamburg to Berlin, for example. It's a 3-hour ride,
and you don't have to do everything. Like you can just do one day. You could just do Dashtoberfest, or you could just. Well, I mean, if you live local, for example, stay dashy, you know.
Well, you know, I'm going to be rocking it for the 3 days. I'm probably going to need a couple of days to recover afterwards, if I'm honest. But
yes, we're training your temporary replacement for for the site and the new site and everything as we speak.
But I do think we need clarity on one thing. So the Dashtoberfest part, the 56, as we know, as we've said multiple times now, Bitterlo has kindly covered that. But the Inside Dash conference, it's a work in progress, and we do want that community feedback. We do have that guideline and structure now, but in terms of the venue, I think we should talk more about that, because there is a cost associated with that, and we're trying to work that out. I mean, we were talking about maybe like a $50 entry fee to that Inside Dash conference, but the actual venue itself, where Fabio is based with Bitterlo, you know, you mentioned the Bitcoin Swiss was kind of like their Bitcoin embassy, right? It's in that particular area is a very blockchain centric community, right? So it makes sense to have it at that venue, and I think we need to make the community outside kind of understand that why it is this venue, why is it important, and why is it ideal.
Because we will have a two-way Dash ATM there, powered by IQ Cash Now, so people can get some Dash for cash there. No, just joking, but we'll be there.
Well, so far we have a Bitty ATM here, and I'm trying to convince them to integrate Dash, and they will. I don't know if it's gonna be ready for end of September, but we're working on it. And I mean, I can show a little bit. I mean, that's the scene itself. And we already organized a couple of meetups. Bitcoin related meetups with the founder here.
So hopefully we won't lose a connection, but it looks pretty big. So would that be the room where it's in, or is this just like the area?
That's a public room. The room conference.
Fabio, you're cutting out with the audio.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, go back. Yeah.
Well,
the place I can explain. So while you show it, I can explain it with a word. Or
okay. So I keep. I shut my mouse, but I show.
Yeah. In this area, we can have, if the partner wants, some small exhibition stands for CrowdNode, for example, mining stuff, ATMs, point of sale systems, all that. And this is one of the conference rooms. We maybe can see something inside there. No, it's hard. But this is the big room, and I think around about 100 people can be in there, and this is the door to the smaller room where we can have discussion, some catering, all that stuff. And even though this place looks a bit like a mall, it's all about business. And when you go up there, so take the stairs, then you have access to a rooftop, and can have a drink up there, and when the weather is fine, maybe even eat upstairs. So it's not a very very fancy place, as far as I know. I have never been there before, but it's a place where people are working in the blockchain area, and they have some rooms, not too expensive to be there. I think I hope I covered everything. Fabio, did you hear me while I was talking?
Yeah, I had an old lady asking me if I had a permission to
film.
Wow,
that's Switzerland.
Yeah. Wow. So okay, so this is pretty interesting. So let's get down to some questions. So I've got one about Dashtoberfest, which is there anywhere in Oktoberfest where we can spend Dash for beer? Do you know?
Yeah.
Is that a possibility, or is that something we can perhaps work on?
I mean, we can try. We have talked about that, but let's say that the host of the Oktoberfest, it's such a big event, and you need such a extremely well organized logistics, etc. I'm not sure. I mean, if we have a perfect POS system somehow, maybe we can work something out, but it's gonna be difficult on Oktoberfest.
But what we can definitely do is some OTC. So
Yeah, sure.
when there's someone like Joel who's only living on Dash, we will help you to survive over here.
Okay, that's good.
Definitely.
Are there many places in either city that accept Dash? I have discovered Dash up, and there's a few places. I'm actually, talking with Albert now about, hey, like there's some airport taxi service that says it does, and we're just like re-verifying to make sure that does. But I don't know. There might be some good spots. We'll see.
Yeah, sure. There are definitely, and what especially recommend you is when you're here, go over to Austria because from my experience, that's the greatest place to spend Dash in Europe at the moment. So, but there are also some smaller bars and restaurants in Munich and Switzerland where you can pay with Dash. Yeah.
I think that's a great suggestion, Jan, because like if you really are traveling from far away and you want to make a week holiday out of it or perhaps longer, yeah, Austria. And I think a lot of that is credit to Salamantex because they've onboarded so many businesses there, like restaurants, even car dealerships. But I mean, you're not going to be buying a car because that's kind of be a bit difficult to fit on a plane. But I mean, hashtag master no money, right?
Yeah, and go back by car then. That's great. Fly to Austria, buy a car with Dash, and drive home.
But but if you really are interested in doing like a Dash tour and getting that real experience, yeah, if you go to Austria, you really can have that. And we've got many merchants listed on Discover Dash, and you can really make that a reality. So let's get into the funding part because we mentioned a proposal, and I don't think we've perhaps made that clear enough because we can't really do this for free. This is kind of like an unofficial event. It's not connected to Dash Core Group. They're invited to take part, but we're decentralized, right? So, I mean, maybe we should talk about that first because, I mean, it's not like other cryptocurrency projects don't have their own community events. I mean, does Steam have their own community event?
They do.
Yeah, sure. They do.
Right? Does Ethereum have their own community event?
They all do.
They do. So why can't Dash? I mean, isn't that what Evan, our Lord and Savior, envisioned? Decentralized. This is what he'd want. Maybe Evan wouldn't want to come. I mean, he might listen to this.
Yeah, you just see it would be like playing Where's Evan at Oktoberfest. There'd be all these people. You see little red-haired dude just kind of like looking around, be like, "Oh my God, there he is!"
Yeah, Evan, you or any other representative from the Dash Labs team, you're welcome to have a speaking slot. We would love to have you to attend as well. So if you are watching or anyone from Dash Labs, feel free to reach out. But yeah, so we are a decentralized community. So yes, Dash Core Group are invited and attended, but this is a community event. Our greatest single asset in Dash is the community. So let's see how strong we are. Let's come together and make an event ourselves and let's really push this forward. So I mean, I'm excited about this, and this is actually going to test the commitment of the community. Now, I know it's going to be hard, perhaps financially, for some people to come, but you can still have your input in this. For example, if you wanted us to try and stream the event or get some video footage or whatever, like this is why we want your input. Perhaps you may have an idea that we haven't thought of yet, but we need to make this work. And this is where the proposal side of it perhaps comes in because, whether it's to accommodate, we can get an idea of how many people are interested, perhaps to accommodate, the bus fare or perhaps flights and accommodations for certain people.
If a bus driver is in the Dash community and is watching this now or listening this on the podcast app, please send us an email. We need you and your bus.
Yeah, I mean,
Hashtag
one
we need
thing,
you and your bus.
and that's the power of the proposal system. Other communities don't have that. And as for instance, the tickets, I'd like to have the price as low as possible for the public, as Jan already mentioned, and maybe we can do something like, because we need a certain minimum fee to have it like a spam protection, and let's say
I like the language of this already.
20 francs or 40 francs, and 1 Swiss franc is basically $1. And then you get it when you actually show up. You get it reimbursed on your Dash wallet or something. So they go away with some Dash.
Yeah, no. Depending on exactly what the costs we're talking about would be. I wonder if it would be possible to do it without a full proposal, maybe a partial crowdfund, maybe the different TFOs that have some extra budget if like the price goes up or something, like all sponsor it, like sponsored by Dash Force, Dash Embassy, Thailand, whatever, the groups that just decide to do it. That would be the preferable way to do that rather than just launch a new, because what happens if a proposal, like, you know, we're all making sure we're doing our best work and earning our funding, and then but then it's just predictably probably too tight, and it's just like, oh, you put up a proposal and then it just goes like, yeah, no, never mind, and then you're just like, oh, now we're all either having to scramble to pay for the thing ourselves, or you just cancel it or something. Yeah, it's probably best to try to figure it out with a more secure and more advanced notice kind of thing than a proposal, although it's not ruling out a proposal.
I really like the idea because before this this call and during the last days, we always discussed who should be the proposal owner. And so me or Dash Embassy Dach shouldn't be the proposal owner. Maybe Dash News is interested to be the proposal owner, but I don't think so. So it should be a community proposal somehow, but you need one proposal owner, of course. And maybe the suggestion you just made, in which every DFO or masternode owner or whoever just spends some money on that, like a donation to have this event up and running, might be a great alternative. I'm not sure about that yet. So, are there any questions or feedback from the community about that in the chat?
Yes, actually, someone has raised a question to say, what sort of costs are we looking at? They want some kind of indication of like how much is this Dash Inside Dash conference going to cost? Like if it does go to proposal. And I guess if there are masternodes watching this, they know there is a treasury and things are tight with the price where it's at right now. So this is a valid concern. So if it was to go the proposal route, what kind of ballpark figure are we looking at right now? What are we anticipating?
Okay, so for the conference itself, like not the flights, etc., we are talking about around 8 to 10,000 francs. Depending on the catering, for instance, we have various the catering ranges from super simple to fancier, somewhere between 4,000 francs and 10,000 francs. It depends on what you want, but we can do it with, let's say, 8,000 francs, and there the bus travel is even included already. The bus travel to Munich. So if we make users pay that, that would cut the proposal even more.
I mean, that's a story within itself, because if these other cryptocurrency communities are managed to have their own community events, which are run by the community, the fact that we have a Dash conference that's funded by our treasury is the news story within itself, right? Because that's the power of Dash.
Exactly.
Within reason, because obviously we know there are other proposals and stuff up, and with the Dash price down now, although we have a much bigger treasury than everyone else that we can pull from because we're self-funding, I think this is a real community effort. So it's not just master owners, it's the community that we would love to hear back, but we want people to get involved. Jan said earlier, if there's anyone out there that wants to make a website for this, please go ahead, like contact any of us. We want to hear from you. And also as well, like, how can people get involved? I mean, we're still putting this together, and we want other people we want this to be a community effort, just like other cryptocurrencies, they have leaders that everyone looks to take direction from. We want to be decentralized in this. So everyone has a voice. If you've got a good idea, the chances are it's going to be implemented. So if you want to register your interest in this, I don't think we have any dedicated channels set up yet, but please feel free to get in contact. We're going to have to set up some kind of way for people to show that they're interested.
Maybe can you just set up a channel on the Discord?
I can do that, pending if all the moderators agree, but I don't think there'll be any issues with that because we have a mod by committee approach. as the way it should be done, right? So
Generalization. Woo.
yeah. So yeah, I see no problem with that, and I think people having questions about travel, logistics, or questions about Munich or Switzerland, you guys probably might be better for that. But any ideas in terms of like suggestions for topics, or perhaps speakers, or perhaps special attendees, or anything that you want to see, or perhaps you might have even better idea. So yes, I think maybe Discord would be the best place to do that.
Yes. So before we get too off topic, then, and we'll say it again at the end, not assuming everyone listens to the entirety of the podcast. I know people have busy lives. If you're listening right now, go to staydashy.com. Right? That gets you. Is it in? No, it's not in the description yet. Oh man, put it in the live chat. Staydashy.com gets you into the Dash Talk Discord. And 95+% chance we're going to have a channel called Dashtoberfest. And just look in there, start throwing ideas out there, participate. Yes. And I will say this again. So shut up. You're going to complain that I say it twice in a podcast. Okay. I'm going to say it at the end. But that's how it's going to go down. We're going to go in there and I'm going to be suggesting different packages kind of ideas. Like, for example, if there's going to be a proposal, it should probably be, I wouldn't say go big or go home, but like a kind of a, like maybe like an 80 dash proposal or something that gets like money for everything. And then if it starts to be something where you got a sponsor between different companies and dash funded organizations and individual donations, crowdfund, whatever, then we might start doing stuff like, okay, maybe no catering. Maybe we just have the event space, and then people go out and have meals on their own. We cut down that cost. We start to like get the actual idea of how that's going to work. And then we have the biggest thing of value, of course, is information. So it's not just what do we give attendees. It's like, what do we tell them? We just say, here's how to do the thing all on Dash. Go cheaper or
Travala. 5%
Travala,
dashback.
Use that for the whole travel thing, the bus thing. And the bus thing might be just like it could be like a bonus thing. We all like someone gets a bus, but it's paid by the individual attendees as well. So even though someone gets it ahead of time, that kind of cuts it off a little bit. And then it's like, all right, here's the thing. And then you just basically just say what you'll need to do. One, if you want to go to the conference, you need a plane ticket here, stay, plane ticket out. That's it. Or, with the conference cost, maybe. If you want to do just the drunken revelry, then there's just that. If you want to do both, there's that like present packages. That's like, you could do this, you could do that, you could do that. And then people just know where to go. Like, well, how? And then traveling to a place where you don't have fiat currency, everyone traveling should probably will have some Dash or crypto, right? It's a good assumption to make. But how does someone who's completely unbanked and just does not have, any fiat other than this Venezuelan stuff right here? How does someone like that manage to go pay for stuff? I mean, I'm out. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto, right? So we'd have to be like, all right, well, there are these ATMs, these two-way ATMs, for example, because one way. Why do I need to buy Dash with paper if I already have Dash and don't have paper? And like, how do you do that? Or who wants to be like, I'll sell some Dash to people at like a 5% spread or just at cost or whatever, and just have some like, talk to these people, or just like, hey, why don't you use this website, this service that's like popular in the region that helps out with that. And so have just all that kind of thing figured out. And then of course, don't forget to download Discover Dash and check out for local merchants. And I would say in the lead up to the event, we'll make extra sure to not only get as many merchants on board in the region as possible, but also to go over the listings with a fine-tooth comb, just like look at that and be like, hey, Fabio, can you call these guys and see if they still take it? And if they don't, can you like get them back board? And just make sure it's like a perfect experience. And eventually it'd be good to have a series of these kinds of events because, Dash is not going away, right? Have a series of these kinds of events all over the world. Do like a Dash Colombia. I don't know so much about Dash Venezuela because of political climate and other travel restrictions might be an issue for a while, but I wouldn't mind it. Dash Thailand. Go to, obviously we need something in Austria. Dash in the UK, I mean,
maybe not so good, not a good time right now. I'd rather go somewhere that has more merchant centric.
Dash Fest, New Hampshire, of course.
New Hampshire, Bangkok. I'd like to go to Colombia as well at some point.
That's what I said, Medellin. Or...
Colombia.
So that would be very interesting to also use that as a 6-month lead up to the event. Try to get as many merchants on board there as possible. Actually do some research into how you can use Dash in that region. Like, well, I don't know, like where's the local fiat exchanges? What does Uphold actually service the country? How can you get fiat in and out or things like that? And then also just go over, of course, the Discover Dash listings really, really closely right up to the event. So it's just like when that app's like extremely accurate in that area, and just kind of repeat around the world before, you know, we have like this network, and use the conference as kind of a peg for the network, and then start, you know, obviously not like collecting data like you collect an email list and just, you know, spam people, but when you make connections with people there, keep track of that, and then in the future be like, hey, now that you have here's some materials, here's how to go get more merchants on board, here's how to go hold your own meetups, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I think I talked about a whole lot that's not Dashtoberfest, but hey,
but I really love the idea to have this one now in Europe, which can be a start, and then maybe we can see some Dash convention or conferences or however you name it. Doesn't matter, all across the globe. So if this would happen, that would be awesome. I would love that.
Yeah, we've had a fairly positive response so far. We had a recent comment come in say, I like it, balanced costs, some from the DAO, some from ticket sales, some from donations, sponsorships. And then we've got someone else saying, sounds good to me, they're going to be there.
Someone good.
So like, think about, you know, perhaps you've got a suggestion, perhaps you've got a speaker that you would like to attend and speak. You know, maybe that could go part of the donation. I mean, if it was someone like, you know, VIP, maybe that could be in the cost as well. If you want, because this is the conference for the community. So if you feel like some of the topics or subject matter that you kind of, you may feel like you know already, right? It's not worth the travel because you already feel you've got a good grip on that. If you're proper pro Dash user and you want to, you know, tell us what you want to see. If you've got an idea of someone you think would be interesting, then put that forward. I mean, you've got nothing to lose by putting out a suggestion out there. Other people may agree with you. So that's what we want to hear. And we want people to get involved. This is this isn't one way, this is a two-way thing. This is a community-based thing. Like, the community is our greatest asset. So let's make this happen. I appreciate this is happening at the end of September. So we got to get our skates on. We've got to get moving. We've got to get this happening. We need to start talking to each other, start communicating, throwing some ideas about. And, you know, this is all about ideas coming together as a community. Let's show other communities and media what Dash is all about. You know, we've spoke about perhaps streaming it, but I'm guessing it happens on the event. But, you know, perhaps you're a photographer, perhaps you're a videographer that you want to be there and you'll do some coverage. Perhaps you'd like some YouTubers to attend to do some interviews. But then again, there'll be a cost associated with that, right? So, but we're starting off young, but it's in its infancy, but that's how it's right. We don't want to tell you how it is. We want you to be a part of it. So staydashy.com, get in there. I haven't created the channel just yet, but there will be a project channel created soon. And then we can talk about everything. So wherever you are in the world, there will be others in the same boat as you. And we will do our best to help facilitate your concerns and questions, because we want this to happen. And even if you can't attend, we will try to make arrangements to make that easy for you so you don't miss out as well. Because, you know.
And I think for the people who want to discuss the topic right now, we can do that in the after party, right?
Fantastic. Yes. Fantastic. So we're going to try and keep this podcast to 1 hour, right?
Just about.
So yes, I think we've pitched it, and I hope that you like the idea. And yeah, Joel, I think this is perfect time to take us out.
Let me first off, if you like the video, like, comment, share, subscribe. Those 4 things on YouTube, especially since if you're in the live chat, I mean, obviously you've been in live chat, you've been participating, but if you're not watching this live, Leave a comment with suggestions, questions, anything else, and we will actually read those and like them and answer them. I know I do. I can't speak for Mr. Stay Dashy over here, but he tends to be on top of the video game here. So do that. Now, two things tied into the same. First off, if you want to participate in the planning of this momentous, fantastic, uber cool event, go to staydashy.com. Drop it in there. Drop it in there. There we go. Again, it's already in there, but throw it in again. Throw it in again.
Done.
Boom. Staydashy.com takes you right to the Dash Talk Discord. There will be I love promising something we don't yet know about, but there will probably be a hashtag Dashtoberfest channel where you can go and start planning that stuff. And if for some reason that gets vetoed by the mods, I'm sure it'll be the Brainstorm channel. So just in case. But let's just say the Dashtoberfest channel, go in there, start throwing up stuff. At some point, I'm sure we will be pinning comments like suggestions on travel, and then we'll just start editing comments and adding things, keeping things organized. Suggestions on like social media, like hashtag Dashtoberfest, and just have a basic media guide to like how do you take, like what kind of pictures you want to take. Like, here's an idea: take a picture of this, your first Dash purchase, the speaker, that, and do it all hashtag and put it there, and then boom, it goes viral. Whatever. Anyway, that'll be in the Dash Talk Discord. But you know what else will be? After party. Go there, and while you're sniffing around in the Dashtoberfest channel or sniff around for it, see if we've gotten it yet, just start asking about the after party. It's literally how this thing came about. It was the four of us and a couple other people just randomly talking just like this, and we started brainstorming. Hey, what if we did a Dashtoberfest? Oh, I like the idea. Oh, I'd love for you to come. And it just started happening, and it just became a thing. And now we did that on an actual podcast now. So it's going to be more of this. All of us together, random people coming in, chatting, wee hours of the morning, whatever, giving an input on all this stuff. It's going to be great. Ask for the after party. We'll get you in. Once again, staydashy.com gets you to the Dash Talk Discord, where you can look for, hopefully, a Dashtoberfest channel, and then just say, hey, where's the after party at? Can I get in the after party? And then you get in, and you chat, and it's going to be fantastic. So get on that, please.
Excellent. Thank you, Joel. So, Jan, Fabio, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Sure.
You're welcome. I'm just moving because my laptop is running out of power.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, this isn't farewell just yet, because both Jan and Fabio will be joining us in the after party as well. So this is your opportunity, if you're watching this live, to come and join us, and you get to speak to Stay Dashy himself.
Oh.
Wow. It doesn't get any better than that, right? I mean, that's the perfect reason to go to this event in the first place, right? So come and talk to us, throw some questions out there. We want to know what you really think. We're not trying to sell you on something. We want you to be part of this. We want you to be out there cheerleading and putting this out there, but we want to deliver something that you really want to see. So yeah, this is different. We haven't really done this before, because before it's always been structured. This is new. This is this is brand new. This is community power. So this is why we want that community input. So if you haven't been to the after party before, come into Discord, say hello, staydashy.com, and just say, where's the after party? I will keep an open eye, and then I'll send you a message, and I'll send you a link to join in. And then you can say hello to us. We're going to be there for at least a few hours talking about this. So I hope to see some of you there. That was episode 114 of the Dash News podcast. If you've enjoyed this and you found it informative, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to be alerted about future videos, click the notification bell and you will be alerted, so you don't get to miss any of this Dashy goodness. Right, it is Friday night where I am, people. So have a fantastic weekend wherever you are. Stay positive, stay humble, but most importantly, stay dashy. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Peace out,
Bye-bye.
kooks.